Hi. Evening. Hi everyone. I hope you're well. Of course, you know I'm Veliswa, but I seem to always want to say that. Hang on, we're telling more people. I seem to want to always say my name, introduce myself. I seem to always work that way. So I'm Veliswa. Um, I just had a moment of wanting to just share a bit of my understanding, and I had about maybe think about 20 to 25 minutes ago had a moment of clarity about something. And I sometimes have those moments of clarity, but I never make much out of them. I'll just probably like write a note down somewhere that, oh my god, that just made sense. And but I won't make much of it. But today I've decided that maybe um, I should share these moments of clarity, and maybe they could help you. Um, this moment of clarity, maybe I might be a little all over, but I hope it to eventually make sense. But I want to speak about the importance of being your first aid, being your first person to, if anything is happening to you, and like maybe if it's something negative that is happening to you or you're going through, you being the first person that helps you, being your first aid, being your first line of defense, and how important that is. Okay, I want to start in the beginning. Um, I was, I don't want to say going through something, but I needed help with something. I was noticing something in myself that I thought I think I need help with this. Or maybe initially I wasn't feeling like I needed help with it. I thought maybe I could work through it myself. I could do it, I could figure it out. But after a while of trying to help myself or figure it out, I just realized that no, I don't seem to be winning. So I then began trying to look for help. I then began trying to look for help. And I this is what is really important that I really want to talk about, that importance of me understanding that I was going through something, or something was not making sense in my life, and then realizing after I've tried to figure it out myself without anything, what is the next thing I can do? The next thing I can do is look for help. And when I say look for help, I don't mean tell people that they need to help me. I mean actively look for help. Um, Going back and saying that I need to be my first person, I need to be my first aid, I need to be my first line of defense. So I'm going through this and I need help, and what am I first thing going to do before I go and ask for people for help? I've tried to figure it out by myself. I've tried that first. That's the first step. When I find that I'm not getting to the solution, the second thing that I did is, we live in the world of the internet. We live in the time of the internet. I go to the internet and I start looking for people who've talked about this, who know more. And I come across this lady called Louise Hay. She passed away a couple of years ago. I really can't remember her title, but maybe you can look for her, Louise Hay. And Louise Hay talks a lot about self-healing, self-love, and overcoming certain emotions of maybe um, fear, safety, insecurity, things like that. She talks a lot about things like that. But as I started listening to her, I became highly interested in a lot of her other teachings, even apart from the subject that I was initially searching for. I became more interested about other things that she was talking about, and I felt like she was really a person that I could call a great teacher. I love teachers, so I was really much interested in Louise Hay, and I listened to a lot of her other teachings. But I was aware that from observing myself, I was aware that but there was a part of me that was not working with me very well, and I first tried to help myself by myself, thinking things through. And then when I realized that was not giving me the solution that I wanted, I went on to the great world of the internet and I sought that help. But I can't tell you the importance of being able to also see in myself where that I needed help in something, or something was not making sense in myself. I truly, truly believe that our lives are always trying to give us feedback, or always trying to help us understand things about ourselves. Life, and I believe, and I believe in spirit. I always believe in spirit, and I believe spirit is always trying to give us feedback, or trying to help us understand certain things. And when you understand something that is not making sense in yourself, what do you do to help yourself? Because life or spirit is trying to make you aware. Life or spirit is trying to make you aware. What are you doing with that awareness? So that's the first thing. You're now aware that there's something that is not working. What are you doing after that awareness? You help yourself first. First step. And the second step is obviously the internet. And I try and I implemented a lot of what Louise Hay was teaching. And I really found it to be incredibly helpful. But she talks about how also when you've identified something, the fact that you've identified it and are willing to work on it, that already says you are in a healing process. By that alone, by the fact that you have identified something and you you have identified something and you're willing to work on it. You are in that clarity, in that alone, you are already in the healing process. Just me understand. I'm first trying to help myself and then going into the internet to look for help. I'm already in the healing process. But I can't be in that healing process if I don't listen to what my spirit is telling me, or my higher self. I don't really want to go into that more deeper. I'll maybe do it in another video. But if I don't listen to myself, if I don't listen to what self is telling me, then it's going to be difficult for me to ever get into healing processes and help myself become better. So I really loved that in her teachings about the fact that just the awareness and action taken about that awareness, I'm already in the healing process. Before I even start, life is already trying to help me. Also, that's what she's also teaching me. Life is already trying to help you just by that awareness, and then me taking these steps to help myself. I'm already trying to heal, and life is also trying to help me in that process. And after I listened to all these Louise Hay's recordings and teachings, and also working with myself to implement the teachings and all of those things, this is where I'm going with the whole thing. Another part of what I'm talking about is that when you want to help yourself, life is going to look for ways to help you. When you want to help yourself, life is going to look for ways to help you. But life is not going to intervene if you are not willing to help yourself first. If I had sat there and gone like, I don't like this thing about me, this I'm finding this and I'm not quite happy with it, but you know what? I'm going to find some solution is going to come somehow. Life is not going to help me that way. I need to be intentional. I need to work with myself first. I need to put myself in a position for life to help me. I'm not putting myself in a position for life to help me if I am nonchalant about what I'm understanding in myself. I need to be helping life help me. And the first step of that, in my opinion, is first working with yourself. Always being your first line of defense. Always being your first aid. So then I was in that process I'm still in the process actually. I still implement a lot of what she teaches, Louise Hay. But I'm just talking about how life is going to help you if you start helping yourself. Beginning of this week, I met up with my mentor. I had a meeting with my mentor about something that I wanted to discuss with her. And in this meeting, she suggests that I meet someone, and then today I met with the person that she had suggested that I work with. It was the beginning of this week. Yes, I think it was. Yes. But today I met up with the person that she has suggested that I meet with. And I promise you, like this is how I'm understanding how life works. The person that I met today was another person who could help me in my healing process. It was another person who was highly qualified in helping me in my healing process. So life is now handing me sources to help me. When I was having this meeting with my mentor, it had nothing to do with the Louise Hay and all the other things that I'm trying to work on. I met my mentor for another separate reason. But life is going to use all possible resources to help me, even in something that at that time I was not there for. Do you understand? But life is going to use that opportunity to help me still. So I'm now meeting with this person that I was meeting for something else completely. As we're talking, I find out this person is also another form of Louise Hay, not in the teaching, but in the terms of another help, another source of help in what I'm working in the things that in some of the things that I'm working with Louise Hay. This person can also help me. This person is another source that life is using to help me. But it all comes. You see, life in my opinion, from my understanding, from my observation, works that way. When you've identified something, it doesn't have to be a problem even, actually. Let me also clarify that. But once you make that effort of pushing yourself first, hi Z. Once you make that effort of helping yourself first, once you make that effort of being your first line of defense, once you make that effort of being your first aid, and then after that you go and look for help, life is going to get other forces to help you, because life sees that you are trying to help yourself. This is what I'm understanding about life. Life wants your effort so that it can see that when I help this person is going to help themselves as well. But life is not going to come in and bring Louise Hay to me and bring the help that I met today. Life is not going to do that, because life needs to see that this is also what I want. So, and truly, at the core of a lot of what I try to talk about in my YouTube videos and in my teaching is that foundation, that power of being your first line of defense, learning how to be your first line of defense, learning how to be your first aid in your life, learning how to be that. Learning how to be that in your life, learning how to be that person for yourself, learning how to be the foot soldier in your own life. Before you go to the doctor, if you have a cut, before you go to the doctor, make sure that you have been your first aid first. Make sure that you have been your first aid first. Because if you keep needing other people to be your first aid, you will bleed. You will bleed heavily. Because that person, the other person, has to be available. They have to ensure that they're available for you. But you're currently bleeding. So I cannot stress this enough. And I'll probably use 100 videos to try and bring the importance of this point across. The importance of helping yourself first, because that's when life is going to step in to help you as well. If you go in and become your own foot soldier, your first line of defense, life is going to bring other forces to help you. Life is going to bring other soldiers to come and help you. If life sees that in the battle of your life, you are present, you are the foot soldier, you are ready to keep coming for yourself, keep helping yourself, life is going to bring other people or other resources to help you. But life is not going to put that effort if you yourself don't think you are worth it. You have to think you are worth it first. I promise you, if I had identified this thing in myself that I didn't like or I was uncomfortable with, and decided that, you know what, later, I'll see it later, life is not going to help me. Life is going to have the same attitude towards me. If I'm nonchalant about my own growth, my own development, my own bettering, then life has to have the same attitude towards me. This is what I've understood, and I am really willing for anyone to come in and teach me better. But I really understand that in your life, you have to push that forward. You have to push that forward. You have to push you being your first aid. If you go through anything, if you want anything, first help yourself before you go to other people. Because I cannot stress this enough. You will be overly demanding of others. You'll be overly demanding of others. In some quiet way, we all are in quiet, we all have moments of bleeding quietly. All of us, we all have moments or situations where we are bleeding quietly. Now, if you are struggling, or you refuse, let me put it that way, if you refuse to be your first aid, you put people in positions where they have to now patch you up and patch themselves at the same time. And I don't always think that's fair. 100%, we will all need help. I'm always pro that, but I am 100% sure that if you become your first aid first, life is going to help, it's going to bring the help to you. Life is going to find a way to bring the help to you, because life has seen that even you are intentional about your life, even you are present for your life. So life must be present too, because life follows your lead. Life follows your lead. So I've come to understand that. I had a moment of clarity about that. And I just had a moment of clarity that when I'm intentional in helping myself, and I decide that I'm going to be my first aid, and I'm going to actively look for help, actively, not passively. I'm going to actively look for help. Life is going to see that I'm doing my best to be present, and I'm active in my own life, and I'm trying to help myself. When I do that, I'm telling life that I think that I am worth it. And so life agrees with me and works with me and helps me with the same energy. Life works with me in the same energy. So I hope my moment of clarity helps someone else with clarity. You have to be. Help yourself. Help yourself first. Help yourself first. Be your own first aid. Be your first line of defense. Go to others when you can say that this is what I have done. That encourages people and that encourages life. When you meet someone and you have done nothing, you're basically asking them to help themselves with whatever they're bleeding with and help you at the same time. But if you can say that I have been the first aid, I have used my first aid skills on myself, I've tried this and I've tried that, you at least give other people a smaller job, or you encourage them to even themselves help themselves heal faster so they can help you. You know? So I don't want to go off on a tangent because I just don't want to go off on a tangent because I still want to share these moments of clarity that I've experienced and still be excited about them. So I really hope if whoever's watching, I see our viewers here, that they found value in what I've shared today. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. On that YouTube channel, I'm trying by whatever means that I can possibly think of to help you get to that stage where you are an incredibly strong first aid in your life, where you are an incredibly strong foot soldier in your life, where your line of defense is you, and that line of defense is incredibly strong. I hope to be able to find millions of ways to get you to get there. I hope to find ways to help you to get there. I thank you so much for your time. I hope you found value in this video. I am Veliswa Tiang. Thank you. Bye.